Welcome to In the Shop, and today Jeff and I are going to walk you through our 2018 Platinum Tundra that we just finished building minutes ago.
Yes.
So yeah, tell us what we originally decided to do and why we bought the Tundra.
Yeah, which we've been talking about for a while. We've always thought, man, we could incorporate that into our fleet really well. The main purpose for this vehicle is it's a great production rig for us. And the functionality that comes along with that is our main purpose. We can put in long hours, big roomy cab for all of the guys. And then with the system we put on the back end of this, it's really easy for guys to get in and out and operate camera gear.
Exactly.
And we want something with the power that could haul the weight, so we got a little extra power in that engine. It just accommodates a living system as well. So it's really a complete package for us. And we don't have to take a whole fleet out if we don't want to. It makes us a little more diverse in what we can do.
It is a standalone vehicle if it had to be.
Yeah, and so it gives us that mobility with our fleet.
So let's see. Well, let's show everybody. Let's go from the front to the back.
Okay. Yeah, so we threw on 35s the first time we've done that. Did the Grabber X3s. We figured this vehicle needs a little extra clearance since it's got that long wheelbase.
Yep.
And it gives us a little softer ride too. We're really happy with that. And it's not so big that we need to re-gear. So it fits right into that space of being tall enough for the lift, not too big to re-gear.
Yep.
Threw on the Icon Speed 6s and the gunmetal gray. We've just had great luck with those wheels. They clean out real easy. They look good too. We did the Icon 3.0s up front. Those are just a stout shock. We've ran those on Rochelle's Land Cruiser. Yeah. We had great success with those.
And there's something about that when you go from the 2.5 to the 3, there is a difference in its ride quality.
Yeah, that stability is really noticeable. In the back, we've got the rear extended travel kit with the 2.5, so that gives you full adjustability on compression and rebound with a remote reservoir, and it gives you a bit of extra droop too, which we weren't sure if we were going to need that or not, but we're like, man, if we get in a situation where we do, and we have this heavy of a back end on this thing, we want to keep wheels on the ground as much as we can.
I think it's important to note that we didn't want to overburden the engine. Yeah. We're not opposed to supercharging this someday.
Right.
But right now, we wanted to keep it as a stock truck. It's as reliable as possible in that form. And I think we did it. This truck now has 2,800 miles on it, and it's got about 500 miles of dirt and ripping around on a couple of its pre-runs. And it's performing really well. Like something like 398 horsepower.
I think it's 381 for the horsepower and 401 for the torque.
Well, let's go from the front now to the rear. Now that we've kind of talked our way up to the top. So. Been very fortunate to be sponsored for years now by CBI Off-Road, and so we went with a aluminum front bumper to keep the weight down again. And within the aluminum front bumper, we've put is the rigid SR.
Yeah, the SR Pro 30-inch Midnight Edition.
In the Midnight Edition.
It's blacked out a little bit, gives it kind of a lower profile look. And it blends in with that bumper really nice.
So, and then we packaged it with the Warn Xeon 12S. So synthetic to keep it that much lighter.
And that's our biggest winch we've ran yet.
Yeah, and then underneath we've gone CBI aluminum skid plates. Yeah, just to keep everything as light as we can.
Yeah, and we've ran those a bit on our other rigs. Haven't had a problem with them. It's done its job.
Yeah, in the engine we've got quite a bit going on.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So show me what you've gotten. Completed in here.
So stuff that we do in all our rigs. We've got our S-Pod going. It runs some lights. We're going to run our compressor off that, and eventually we will throw lockers in this. So we pre-wired that. So lockers are going to run off of the S-Pod as well. So in our main battery, which is the Group 31 from Odyssey, we've got a few things from our back end that tie into here, which we'll look at that in a little bit. So we've got our power from our drawbar in the back, so we can charge a trailer when we're pulling. And then we've got our headboard powered, which we have some lights off of. We've got a water pump, things like that going off of that as well. And then we send this power over to our auxiliary battery, And the way we're joining that this year, we went with Red Arc, and we've got their BC-DC 1240. So this is a battery charger. It also will isolate our batteries and protect our auxiliary battery if it needs to be, but it really evens everything out. And then we can plug solar into that if we eventually want to do that.
Down the road. Yeah.
So that's a really nice feature. And then I've got a little fuse block back here that ties into our auxiliary battery. Our ham radio's running off of this. And also I put our winch off of this one, which a lot of guys won't do that on their aux battery, but this battery's got more than enough power with this charger. It really evens everything out. And then, which we can't see it, I've got the Red Arc solenoid down here, the battery isolator.
Okay.
And what that does is it sits between your battery and then all of your auxiliary things coming off of it.
Yeah.
So I've got our fuse block back here wired into that. So it goes battery, isolator, then your fuse block. So that isolator will protect your battery if you ever get a phantom draw or overdraw.
Very cool.
Like that. So kind of a little bit redundant, but just really protects everything.
Now I've noticed that there's something missing there. Where did it go?
Right. So no one is really making a battery tray for a Tundra yet.
Yep.
So we had our local guy, Taylor Green, make this for us. And what is usually here is your washer fluid reservoir, right? Stands tall. So we had him make a base plate out of steel, and it's got these tabs that come up. And then inside of that is an aluminum reservoir. And we had the holes cut out, so we just put our factory float and factory sensor right in there, or pump.
For the washer fluid tank.
For the washer fluid tank. So that, you just plug that in and everything works like it should. Same volume as the factory tank.
Cool.
And then he put a steel tray on top of that for us to put our battery on it. It just went together really nice.
Yeah. We had TRD air intake, the dual exhaust, which was a huge improvement.
That's nice.
Sadly, we had to cut the tips off of it because of where they were mounted. We wanted to make sure that we weren't going to tear them off or damage exhaust, so we cut them back. You'll see that in the back.
We did add some lights under here, so we got I just put the rigid lights, which you can get those in a rock kit or by themselves, the A series. Put 2 of those under there for a engine bay light, which is really handy when you're on the trail and it's dark and you want to figure something out.
So working our way back, we've got some Bushwhacker fender flares. It's not only cosmetic on this truck to balance out the look, but due to the offset of the 35-inch tire, we were going to be throwing some rocks, so this did push the fender out just a little bit further to protect the rest of the truck. So going to the top, that was a chore.
That was a chore, and we'll see if anyone else does this. So we got this rack, which is a great rack from Easy On. Paul hooked this up from Equipped, and it was a chore. We had to tear out the headliner because we wanted to make sure we didn't hit any airbags, drill holes because there's no factory mount in there, and get that in. And I think there's 3 layers of metal you're going through because it's all along the pinch weld.
Yeah.
So that was a full day with like 4 guys.
We married it up with the Alu Box 42 liters, and this is the new Easy On quick disconnect system for those, so you don't have to bolt them to the roof.
Really functional.
And then a 50-inch rigid adapt light bar that went the whole length.
Yep.
And so far we've been running this light bar. We love it. It is like the light bar to rule them all. It does it all. It has a GPS puck right here that is tied into its brain, and then as you change your speeds, it can either widen or narrow down depending on the speeds that you're running.
Yeah, I think it's 8 different settings between flood and spot.
Then the Max Trax holders, that's cool from Easy On. It puts our Max Trax up and out of the way. So steel sliders, we went steel because of that. It's a long truck. It has a long wheelbase, and if we're ever going to lean on it, there's going to be a ton of weight on that, so we went steel. All right, so Jeff, this is the meat and potatoes. When we drive this truck around, everyone's like, what is that?
Right.
So what is this?
Rightfully so. So this is the P-Core system from Patriot Campers, and it is beautiful. I love this thing. It's really well thought out, completely engineered, comes off of a production line, so everything is standardized. It's not a one-off thing. You're just trying to fit it together. And we had the fortunate experience of Patriot sending their lead engineer over to help install this. Well, I should say he installed it, I helped. That's probably the more fair way to say that.
Yeah,
so
and
Jack,
he had designed it.
Yeah.
His name was Jack?
Jack designed this, engineered it, and he's also their production line engineer as well. So he's over here installing this thing and already thinking in ways like, how do we make this better? Because this is the first one in the world, and we're very fortunate to have it. So what we have is a flatbed by itself.
Yep, and that's this section here.
This section here, yes.
All of this.
And so what we did, you get the flatbed, we bolted the headboard on, put that onto the truck, and then you put on the canopy part as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on under there because you got all of your battery systems inside of here. We have, I think it's 160 amp hours of lithium battery, which is awesome. You got your water pump because there's a 20-gallon water tank underneath.
And that is mounted forward of the axle.
Yep. Exactly, helps with the stability and handling of the truck. And it also, to mention, this is all aluminum, so it's fairly light for what it is. Put the load on with the canopy, and that goes on with 4 bolts. And then the inside of this offers a lot of options for us. Hanging off of the flatbed, you do have toolboxes. You got one in the back on this side, exact same one on the other side. And then once we walk around, we'll show the tray in the back too. And then you got some cool features. I like the fill you got your gas fill on this side.
It's like a marine.
Yep.
Marine setup, marine key.
Yeah. So up top, the canopy has just an aircraft rail system up there, which is really universal.
Yep.
And for us, of course, we're going with K9 everything from easy on. So they have load bars now, which is really functional. For whatever vehicle you have, it's super functional for us on this application because we want this stealth tent up here. It's easy to just drop it right on. And then we threw on the awning with the bomber product mount. So these right here behind that are holding this awning on are from Bomber Products, which those things are stout. That is going nowhere.
They're made right here in Bozeman.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we went with the Easy On 2000 awning. We knew that because in here is our Galley system. We'll get into that. But when it unfolds, that you would be exposed to the elements. So having a awning was real important. So we went with the 2000. It's a self-retracting, and then it has a nice married look with the metal casing or the aluminum casing on the outside.
Well, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, so your tent's set up. So I've got maybe 5 nights in this now.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really have liked it. It's really great for 2 people. The strap system that they have in there is really good for the folding. So the folding has been really easy. And it is dark as the inside of a cow in there.
Really?
During the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you could sleep for days in there.
And I like that they added a light.
There's an integrated light, So from here, you can plug in a 12-volt light system into there, and then you've got power up there, which is pretty awesome.
It's convenient.
It's really nice. Let's open up the awning.
All right.
So there we are. Now the grand reveal.
Yes.
This is the galley side. So this is the camping side of the system. So in here we have an upright fridge, which is the first we've run.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of 6s on it right now. It seems to be working just fine. We don't have enough experience with it yet to really know if we love it or hate it.
And we got some power ports over here, 12 volt and the USB. That's where we run our power up to the tent. Really nice. And then there's this thing.
The Galley.
Which is
the Patriot Galley system, is that what they were calling? Right now this is number 3. There's only been 3 of these made at the time of this filming.
Right.
So it's part of the work in progress, but it's pretty slick.
It is. Yeah, considering this is early on, they've done a great job already, so we'll see how they keep progressing. But a really functional system for us. Looks super tall for short guys like me. They're very considerate. So it just ratchets down. Super simple system. And then unlock that. And then you slide out. You got your stove up here and your sink, which pops down here.
There you go.
That's it. Pretty simple. And awning's
Covers it all the way.
Just the right length for that whole system.
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason we went with the 2000.
Right.
Because we knew it would go as far as it needed to go to cover the full galley. So inside this top box, galley. So already you can see paper towels, spices, even some of our pots and pans.
Yep.
And yeah, more pots and pans and a propane hose.
Sure.
So it comes with a Brommic. We're new to these, but the cool feature is it's got a broiler underneath, which we've actually used.
It's nice for garlic toast.
And for garlic toast.
Yes.
So Jeff, walk us through what we got in the back.
Yes. So it's a pretty functional system on the back as well. The way they have this canopy sits, it goes a little bit forward of the back of the flatbed, so you have a little extra room here. And they use that to support all of this stuff. So we got our propane, our jerry cans, and then our big 35-inch tire. It's nice to have these all accessible, and it's really a modular system. If you wanted, you could do 2 spare tires, you could do 2 sets of jerry holders. If our tire was a little bit smaller, you could have steps going up the top.
Yep.
So they've just got places all over to put whatever you want on here. Again, just another thing that's really well thought out and engineered.
And to be clear, real quick on the steps, there's the ladder for the tent is right in here.
Yep.
You just fold this up, pull the ladder out, and then that's how you access.
Moving down, we've got a nice drawer here, which is one of my favorite things. So we're always looking for places to store tools.
Yep.
And this is a great location for that. Deep enough to put, a full tool roll in here, full socket set, that kind of thing. So really functional, heavy duty, you can put a lot of weight in this thing.
Yep.
And then a nice feature about all of the doors and drawers on this system is it's all locking with your
Key fob.
Your factory key fob. On the canopy, it's positive pressure, so it's pressurized to keep dust out.
So air is moving out, not getting sucked in.
Yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Then of course we got our LED lights on the side. Those are really nice and bright, also low profile. Then moving down, we've got our winch in the back. That's a first for us.
Yep.
Did the Xeon 12S again. And we've had a few instances where it would have been nice to be able to winch a trailer up. So that's going to be an option for us.
In many instances where you have had to turn a truck around to get somebody
winch
out.
from the front.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, multi-purpose, and with a truck this big, who knows what we're going to get into.
Yep.
Over here, we've got our air chuck spot. So we've got an air tank underneath. And
The ARB 1 gallon?
It's the 1 gallon ARB tank. And then that plumbs into our box over here, which houses our ARB dual air compressor. So really smooth system there. Over here, which is awesome, is our water. So switch for your pump and then your spigot right there. And we have a hose coming off that. We can go over to our galley. We can fill jerry's if we wanted to. We can do a lot of different things with that.
So in here is the other side of the P-Core system.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on, just basic storage, and then a lot going on right here. And this is one of my favorite places on this.
This is a cameraman's dream, I hope.
I think it is. Yep.
There's just functional power here, functional storage, everything's quick grab. We've got our 2 batteries stored back behind this drawer. We've got a 3,000 watt inverter. And then we've got all of your breakers here for inverter, your battery management system right here from Red Arc, and then your mains. You can cut the whole power if you want, really easily. We have a plug-in for solar if we ever want to do that. That's pre-wired. You got levels for your tank, empty right now. That's really convenient to have that. And then you have switches for everything. So you got your fridge, your accessory ports right here for all of your charging stuff, and then your work lights. And work lights, those are all on a little pressure switch for your door. So if you don't want to shut that switch off, you're fine to leave that open. And then another big thing for us is we have shore power. These trucks come into the shop and they sit for a while, and it's really easy for a battery to drain. So that's a great
Plug them in.
Great option for us.
And then in here, this is where we're right now storing a lot of camera gear. So a lot of lenses and camera bodies and things like that. And it's in a pressurized dust-free environment right here where you can work on them.
Yep.
Let's move to the interior.
All right. Everything's got a purpose with what we do. So first and foremost, we got to think, how is this going to film, right? And this is a huge cab.
Yep.
So your voice resonates a lot, sound resonates a lot. So the very first thing we did sound mat throughout this whole thing.
Yep.
Especially for, you know, that in-cab filming that we do, we want that audio quality to be good.
The 1,000 miles that I put on this, you know, a couple weeks ago, it makes a noticeable difference, you know, having a quiet ride.
Yep. So we put our radio up here along with our S-Pod controller, the digital display, touchscreen display. Just ran that up through the A-pillar and across, so kept that as clean as we could.
Yep.
We've got our rigid light controller right here for the adapt light. Then down here, this is a new thing for us. This is the Red Arc dual gauge voltmeter and amp meter. So we can, you know, see our volts from our batteries and also the current running through it. So it monitors both our starter and auxiliary battery.
Okay.
And then we hooked up to, I believe it was current coming out of our starter battery, because that's our most important one.
So you can see what your alternator's doing.
So yeah, you can see how your alternator is charging. You can see what your draw is. And then we put a Tow Pro in here, the Red Arc Tow Pro as well, Tow Pro Elite.
Elite.
So
with all the off-road functions.
Yes. So this came with a factory electric brake controller from Toyota, which wasn't bad.
Yep.
But it doesn't serve our purpose of doing the off-road stuff. So I knocked that out, put in a plastic plate where we can put in something else if we want to, and put in the Tow Pro Elite there. You
went back to the Night Eyes radio mount, which has worked great. You put the extreme one on this one. I noticed it's like, and it's like, whack, boom.
It really works.
It really works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say with this Platinum Tundra, I think we hit the fine line. I came to as far to the line between a 200 series with a truck utility as possible. Like, you know, the Apex is the 200 series Land Cruiser. This has a lot of the same componentry of it, the front end, the engine, you know, a lot of the same gauge layout and stuff, but it's still got the function of the truck.
Yeah.
So this really has hit a new spot in the overlanding space and on our expedition fleet that nothing else could have done. Well, thanks for watching. This is our 2018 Platinum Tundra. Like, comment, share below, and we'll see you on the next one.